Alright everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to be doing some more Nomad survival and we're going to be doing the Spectral bow build. This is what I've been looking forward to because they just made a change to the sprite. The bow definitely looks significantly better. I'm a little concerned in regards to just single target damage, so I'll probably end up taking, maybe Escal Barrage, Chain Light Shock as always, stuff like that. But let's get into it and see how it goes. I'm going to go the Rat Folk Archer because, we got a bow. I mean, you need a bow. And gonna go Nomad for the extra rerolls. And as always, we'll do some Crossroads at 100% speed. This one I'm looking forward to just because I like the skill in general. Bows have always been my favorite weapon in almost any game I play. So I'm looking forward to this one. Granted, I am a little worried about the damage, so we'll see how it goes. Because the damage is pretty low. I mean, it's hitting for 5 right now, which obviously we're level like 2, so not the big of a deal, but it does concern me. And I also don't understand the targeting system for the bow, personally. It doesn't seem like it goes for anything in particular, like it's not aiming at the closest enemy, it's not aiming at the farthest enemy per se, so I'm not exactly sure how it chooses what targets to shoot at. Because sometimes, like right there, it's just literally shooting at a wall, and there's no enemy spawning over there, so I'm not 100% sure on why it's targeting that direction, basically. I'm gonna take colorless so I don't have to worry as much. Save me some time in the early game. And as always, we'll pick up EXP and the item pickup range when we can. I'm also going to be going duplication with this build, as more arrows is better, right? The clear in general is questionable, but I'm hoping once it hits level 5, you get a second one, and the clear picks up, I would say, significantly. But until you hit that, it's not as good. Granted, I'm getting a little fortunate this run. It's already level 4, so that is awesome. Perfect. We got 2 bows now. So the clear should be a little bit more consistent. Granted, Chain Light Shock just it's always there for you. Chain Light Shock will never let you down, I must say. Wow, but my rolls are letting me down right now, that's for sure. Try not to dig that much, just in case we have to roll a ton for the Relic, which hopefully we don't have to, but we'll see. I've been getting kind of unlucky. Oh, whoops, just rolled the bow. Then the projectile duration, I would assume, applies to how long the arrow exists, so it's basically dealing more damage as it's shooting farther across the screen. You're more likely to hit more enemies. That's my thought process anyways. I don't know how else you would quantify the duration of the projectile. We got item pickup to max level already though, and that is super nice. And we're only 1 away from bow, and we're only 4 minutes in. That is awesome. So it seems like this run is definitely going to come down to the relics. Okay, so we conjured 2 additional, so we got 4 bows and arrows bounce. So we have 4 bows, and then my powers are just kind of like the Rat Folk Archer's ability, which he shoots an arrow and it bounces off. So that's really good. You have 4 bows, they're all affected by duplication. So once I max out duplication, it's gonna be an insane amount of arrows. The clear's fantastic. I had no idea what it did at max level, so I'm looking forward to see what happens once it hits level 2 Relic. Of course, the game's like, wait, you actually wanted something? Hard pass. So unfortunately, we just used most of our rolls. I'm going to refrain from rolling for now, so we can get our times 32 roll, or our 32 rerolls for one roll, that is. The clear is fantastic, though. This is amazing. The fact that things bounce off, it's just going to be constant damage, so this is definitely up there in the builds for DPS for sure. I will be interested to see the damage charts at the end of the game. Because the one downfall of Chain Light Shock is that you only hit X amount of people, basically. So I guess I'll pick up Duration, because that affects the arrows. But yeah, you only hit a certain amount of arrows, and... Or sorry, enemies with lightning. And unless you have max, which I don't currently, it's not really going to be that impactful. Granted, the first relic does up the damage a lot. Alright, here comes the first boss. Single target damage isn't terrible, but I mean, not something I'd exactly be like, oh my god, this is insane. But it's pretty good. Oof. Alright. Well, things... I don't want to say they're looking down, but it's always sad when you use all of your rerolls and you don't hit one of the relics you're going for. So now it's kind of just up to luck. We'll see if we get any bonus rolls, or if we could just pull it out. That'd be awesome. I've only one time ever gotten both relics at the same time. That was awesome. I got the first relic in the first pick. I got a bonus roll, and the second relic was there, and that was amazing. This clear range is why you want to always have the item pickup maxed, because there's things that are dying that I can't even see, and instead of having to walk, say, you know, all the way over there, all the way up, all the way down, you generally only have to get to the entrance and you're able to pick up all of the XP nodes. Wow, I just realized this is probably the worst I've done in regards to getting the experience. Passive. Generally it would be maxed up, I know. So that's pretty bad for me. We'll go clear out this. See, the build's not amazing when you're moving. It's definitely one of those builds that is significantly better when you're standing still, just so the arrows and the bow can kind of be centered around where you're at, because if you see, all of the arrows are bouncing back through my character, so this makes it really hard for anything to actually get close to me. Unfortunate. Wow, the game wants me to get Infernal Ray though, that's for sure, which is the last video I made. If you guys want to see that, just go ahead and look it up. Infernal Ray is fantastic when it is max level, I have to say. No complaints from me. Infernal Ray is probably my favorite build so far. So definitely go check that out, or build it yourself in one of your games. Getting the second relic is absolutely insane. You want to go Infernal Ray and max weapon skill size. It is so strong. I can't believe I still haven't maxed out the EXP. That is so bad. It's not like extremely detrimental, but it definitely impacts how fast you're gonna be able to dig for different abilities. It's not really super impactful this round because fortunate enough to get all of my bow weapon skills extremely quickly. So I'm not particularly looking for anything anymore. Just duplication. And I'm taking like damage nodes and stuff like that. The DPS, while it's not insane, since there's, I don't know, 12 to 15 arrows going at the same time, it's pretty strong. Let's see how it does against Cthulhu. We'll take skill size too. The arrows look pretty funny when they get really large. Granted, they look a lot better now that they made that change. Boss damage isn't anything like to write home about, honestly. Nothing crazy. Hey, okay, we got the first one. Awesome. So there is chance, and I'm actually going to take the rerolls because I'm doing pretty well on not rerolling, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that. So the first relic for the arrows is that the arrow size is doubled. Well, technically it's projectile size, but you know what I mean. And as you can see, it's not, I mean, I don't want to say huge, but the arrows are significantly larger than they were. This definitely impacts how much damage you're doing because your arrows are hitting a lot more enemies. Multiple arrows are hitting the same enemies. So just more damage basically. They're hitting for 318 right now, which is not bad. And once I get duplication all the way up, it'll be pretty good. Hopefully we can get that second relic. I'm honestly not too sure what the second relic actually does for the spectral bow, so I'm interested to see. Okay, and now I'll have enough rerolls after this to be able to get one more reroll on our next chest. So that'll be nice. So we have the chest at 20 and 25, as well as the boss at 21. So 3 more attempts, plus the 1 reroll that I have, as well as the chance at a bonus roll, which I'm not super, you know, depending on, but they're always helpful, definitely. I wish there was something you could do to make your arrow look like the other arrows. It just looks a little off because we have this smaller, like, actual arrow-looking arrow, and then we have the spectral arrows, which, I mean, I get it, it makes sense. One's a real bow, one's a ghost bow, but I would still like that. Skins for the characters would be pretty cool. I know that technically the heritages really change your skin, but I also think it'd be nice. Cosmetics are always a good thing. I'm always gonna shell out for cosmetics, I have to say. Looking good makes you do more damage. It's just scientific fact. I wonder if I get duration high enough if I can make it to where they bounce back multiple times across the screen. Not too sure. I mean, hey, I could maybe go for the reroll that's even higher than 64 based on how I'm doing right now. We'll see. We got the chest coming up here and the boss spawning also. The next 4 minutes are definitely my least favorite part of this map. Not sure if I'm gonna move until I kill the boss or not. Going for this portal that spawns at 20 is a little dangerous if it spawns outside of the center, just because walking through the corridors when the boss that spawns at 21 spawns, it's definitely not optimal, to say the least, between the things falling from the sky, the bugs that die and block your path, and then throw on top of that I'm playing at, you know, 100% speed. That minute from 20 to 21 comes up pretty fast. So, stay here, wait for the boss to spawn, we'll take care of him, and then we'll go from there. Looks like it's below me. That was super rude, I have to say. Nice boss damage now. Oof. Look at that, that is great. That was really good, I like that a lot. It's just, there's so many arrows going off at the same time. Okay, we got our first reroll. I'm gonna take this because I'm greedy. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We got the bonus. Alright, dude. Awesome, guys. Awesome. And look at all these rerolls to spare. Now I just get to dig for whatever I want, which I'm going to finish out duplication, and I will go for skill size as well. Looks like the game doesn't want to give me duplication though, honestly. Why that is, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I hadn't finished it. Yeah, okay. Alright, this boss skill is definitely my most enjoyable boss skill. It is just extremely convenient. And it does pretty decent damage for just being a generic kind of laser beam. I wish I had gotten this when I was doing the Infernal Ray build, because then you would have all these laser beams going all over the place. It'd be so funny. Yeah, this DPS is fantastic though. I'm very happy with the bow. Once we get back to the center, I'll take a look at what the second relic is. So the second relic just doubles the projectile speed, so that's why everything is moving so fast. Which, I mean, it's zooming. Things are dying extremely quickly. This might be the fastest clearing build that I've gone so far. Honestly, the clear speed is kind of ridiculous. And it's not that it's dealing a ton of damage, it's just things are getting hit so many times. It's kind of crazy. It's only doing 400. The Infernal Ray build, for example, each time that they got hit by the ray, it was dealing over 1,000 damage. So it's not like this is doing anything crazy. It's just there's so many of them going at the same time. It's kind of absurd. Let's see what it'll look like once they're ginormous. I can't even count how many arrows are going at the same time, honestly. And the nice thing now is, the thing that used to be a detriment to the bow was, you know, the fact that it kind of just shot wherever it was looking. It didn't seem like it had any like preferences while aiming. That's not a bad thing anymore, because now that it bounces off the wall, it doesn't really matter if it shoots into nothing, because it's going to bounce back anyways. So that's almost turned into a positive for the weapon, because by shooting just random areas every single time, you're going to guarantee that you're never really shooting in the same place. That way the arrows are going to be so well spread out. I mean, look at the screen. It's a perfect circle just coming directly through. I'm going to pick up Spectral Sword, see. Because the first one has it to where it slashes on its own. The second one, secondary sword down slashes twice. Oh, that's cool. You can't even see it. There's too many things on the screen. It's down there. Spectral Sword's definitely one of my favorite abilities, just because the weapon skills of the characters are so insanely strong in comparison to not all of the weapon skills, but like the cultist, for example. It's a one shot on any mob that's not a boss, including crystal chests and the portals, and it does an AoE explosion damage. That thing gets so good, and you don't even have to like really make a build around that. You could just go whatever weapon, and any passive that you take is probably going to help out that ability. Same thing with the Divine. The Divine's the character that does the AoE explosion. That character is so strong. I almost dislike playing that character because, one, it's too easy, and two, if you get enough SP regen, you're actually almost taking maybe 2 steps every single time in between abilities. So moving isn't the easiest thing in the world. Like, so you have to go to one of the portals that are at the end of the roads. It'll take you a hot minute to get down there and to get back. A Material Cloak is another skill that I think is not extremely important, but very, very good. If you ever have to, like, you know, there's a bunch of things, you don't really like any of them, and that's one of the options, I would definitely take that, even if you're only taking it one time, because it can really save you. Wow, this damage is crazy. All right, we'll do our best to not die to the boss. I can't promise that I won't accidentally walk into its abilities as I do so often. That red circle from the first boss is just it's so good when it's on this last boss because the damage is scaled so crazily. It's just ridiculous. So you walk into it once, I don't honestly think you could live. Alright, it's gonna spawn below. There it is. Death itself. Oh, there. Oh, see, I almost did it. I almost did it. I was not paying attention at all, and that circle almost hit me. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but that was extremely close. Okay, now, this is actually absolutely insane. I've never once seen a damage total this high outside of one time I got Chain Light Shock extremely early on. I think I maxed it out at like 3 minutes in, and I got 3 or 4 relics for it, and that DPS was at 18 million. But this is absurd. Absurd. You can pretty much just like ignore these other ones because Infernal Ray I just picked up for fun. Same thing with Spectral Sword and Colorless Glyph. Your weapon skill on the Ratfolk Archer, it's extremely dependent on early game, and if you're going SP regen, I was not. It's really strong early on because you can one-shot a lot of the mobs, but outside of, you know, using that to build up, I don't really think it's a great ability. This, however, like, I was expecting an insane damage amount, but I can only imagine what it would have been if I got that second relic so much earlier. So on a damage size, like, this is definitely a top build. I'll give it a 10 on the damage. Aesthetics, I wish they weren't just like colorless arrows. I think that's so sad that they don't get some type of like flair to them, you know, some like element, or maybe just like different light or something like that. You know how like on Purifying Circle, when enemies die in that circle, it looks like they ascend. Basically they get this giant flash of white that hits their character model as they die. So adding some type of FX would look great on this. So I'm gonna give the build a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's 9 is because I just wish it looked a little bit better, so that's just bias. The build's definitely a 10 when it comes to damage, so I definitely recommend this to everyone. The skill is so good. So if you guys have any questions or just any comments, definitely let me know down below, and I will be back with the next build video shortly. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I will see you on the next one.